Well, inside what is standard now for mail order only Games Workshop figures, if you get from them, is my latest addition to my Sylvaneth army, the Lady of Vines. And this is one that I was a bit about when seeing photos of it on the on their website and on the War Scrolls. It's just something about the pose. It doesn't actually convey an awful lot of what's going on in there, right? But basically, it's like Dr. Octopus. This figure has got all these vine branch whip things that can come out and be quite deadly. So, yeah, and I only realised how good it was when my friend Josh put up photos of him making one, and I could actually see it from a different angle than this. All right, so it's actually, I was thinking about getting another one. I'll get it. So here we go. No doubt, yeah. Straight away, it's like, I don't think that is necessary to be a separate part. Oh, maybe, take it back. This is one of the hollow people, isn't it? Yeah, they have a hollow belly with a plant growing in it, some mystical energy source or something or other. I haven't played Sylvaneth. I'm only collecting the army, so I don't know anything about the lore or how they work at all or anything. But yeah, look, you've got 2 toes to stick on there. This is going to be nice. Look, there's a cloak of leaves. Yeah, I'm wondering what to do colour-wise. I mean, if that's a cloak of leaves, that's all green, so I guess I've got to go brown for her. One day I'm going to do a proper green man, just like Celtic mythology. I think that'll be my next tree person. Yeah, looks all right. The only thing that's going to be about this figure is that's quite a reach. Where on earth do you put them in the cabinet, you know? But yeah, looks fun. Got to touch the old Ken Dodd about its face. I think, yeah, I think from now on, oh, don't know what that is. Yeah, from now on, it shall be known as Ken. Well, that was an interesting build. Yeah, that was fiddly. Basically, this plant thing has to go in a tiny hole there and then a little notch there. Then you glue the two together to get that, all right? Which is fine. You get this nice little plant hanging down. But then you have to put this front bit over the top, covering up an awful lot of that plant thing. And my initial idea was to just blue tack that in place, and then after priming, take that off and paint all in there before putting that back on. That ain't going to happen, because this bit, which is coloured blue here, forms part of the meeting point for the 2 legs, so it has to go there. This is curious as well. This isn't just stick an arm on the side. You can see it comes in at the top, because that's half of its neck. All right, so that was a bit strange. Yeah, time consuming and rubbish having to stick 2 toes on. This bit is just blue tacked. It's really good because built into the cape of leaves there are skulls, and even though you barely see them on the other side of the cape, there are the backs of the skulls. All right, so that's that. You'll see in a sec, I've stuck the arm on. All these were stuck on. Stuck the head on, so I got to that. And then you do the Dr. Octopus thing separate, but it says to like stick that in, but you've got to get it between the staff, and that has been tricky. And I think it's because I've blue tacked the cape on, and so therefore it's not in place properly, so the Dr. Octopus bits aren't going on properly. But there you go, primed in white. There's the plant thing that I've now got to try and get to. All right, so now it's all primed in white. I can remove the vines, and I can remove the cape, and start painting. All right, here's the lady. So yeah, her internal belly plant thing I washed with one of the contrast paints. can't remember the name, do apologise. And then once I've done that, I can do her skin or bark or whatever the heck it is. And for that, I've said before, when I've been doing Sylvaneth figures, I don't want them all to look the same, all right? I mean, they're essentially tree people. They are made out of wood, but I want to vary the colours. So like with these fellas here, they're all pretty dark, like a mahogany wood. And with my branch witch, I've done her like she's like a sap, you know, a stripped bark. So she's dark on the legs, but more exposed and mushy and pulpy wood on the top. All right. And with the lady, what I've done here, and yeah, it is a bit orange, isn't it? But I don't mind it because she's going to have other colours going on. What I've done, she is Avalon Sunset base washed with Agaros Dunes. I tried with Wildwood, but that darkened her down far too much. I wanted to keep her quite light because a lot of what she's going to have adorning her is going to be light, and I don't want it to be too much of a contrast. So that's that. And then yeah, I went back and I dry brushed the Avalon Sunset over the top. And then what I've done is I've just touched up the white for the staff, because all my Sylvaneth weapons, the heavy bladed things, are all going to be the same sort of colour, and the basis of that is white. And then her headdress and her loinclothy thing I've picked out in silver, and in her head recesses I've picked out in silver as well, because I plan on doing what I did with my Slanesh, and that's actually put contrast plates over the metallics. What I've done, as I laid down the silver, I laid down a bit of silver on a piece of paper, and I'm going to put strips of colour of contrast across to see which would be the best, most suitable for the lady. And then, yeah, the only other thing is her coat of, her skirt of leaves. I haven't touched them yet, just put on the barky bit and picked out her bum plate with silver. All right, I'm going to paint these yellow. All right, I'm going to paint them all yellow first, and before washing, and that's going to be washed with Militarium green. And the reason I've chosen that is these vines of hers, I've painted the mantis green over the white, which has given me a nice bright vibrant green, which is what I want. I want them like that, fresh sapling vines, right? And I've just gone in and I've picked out the leaves in yellow, and I'll be going back over with the mantis green over the yellow, because then you get a distinction. It's all going to be the same colour, but the leaves are going to be slightly tinted differently because it's mantis green over yellow rather than white. And on the back she's got some sort of like bottle, no idea what's going on in there, so I've got to pick that out. She's got some mushrooms growing on her back as well, and you've got the odd adornment as well. And yeah, oh, the other thing I hadn't noticed when I was assembling her is that you've actually, did I say this before? I can't remember, but look, she's stomping down on a plague bearer. Now, I haven't painted Nurglin for a long time, so it's going to be good fun going back and painted him. So I'll come back when I've got a bit more progress. All right, so I've elected to go for a metallic green for her headdress and her loinclothy thing, which looks a bit bright at the moment, but once all these vines that I've picked out in white are a much more duller green, that's going to take away from it a bit. She's got her shoulder pads done. I decided to do them in silver rather than the gold often depicted, because it's just going to be too much with the colour of her bark. I've picked out the adornments in brass. Yeah, this staff, as I say, I wanted to keep all the the weaponry the same sort of colour. The problem is I don't have that colour anymore. The colour I used originally was a Citadel green ink, which I've used here on this Kurnoth Hunter that I did many years ago. I haven't got that anymore. I think this is Beltane green, which I've watered down and put on, and then I'm going to put a coat of gloss on. All right, so we're good there. Again, well, let me show you this first. Do it the right way around. This is the backpack tendril thing. As you can see, nice and bright green. I want them to be like young, vibrant vines coming out of her to wreak the damage. There's one of those bug things, which I've got to finish off and put that in gloss. I've done like a turquoisey colour for that vial, just for a bit of difference. Again, I've got to finish off all the jewellery that's hanging from it. You can see this side. This is a good example. There's the mantis green over white, and there's where I've painted the leaves yellow. I've yet to put the mantis green on the leaves this side. This is the leaves with the mantis. Come on, this is what it should be. Come on. They're the leaves with the mantis green applied over the yellow. All right, just to break things up. Oh, I've missed one there, I can see. All right. So yeah, that's almost good to go. And then, yeah, just to distinguish between the green of the vines and the green of the leaves of her cape, I've used a completely different green. This is Militarium green, which is a much more realistic, if you like, green. I wanted to keep these quite subdued. All right, and as you can see, you've got a bug who's approaching this. I think it's a Nurgling skull. Yeah, it's got a Cyclops eye socket. So again, got to pick its eyes out, paint that in gloss. Got to do the skulls, of course. There's three. There's the Nurgling, a plague bearer skull, and two human skulls. And on the other side, what I really like is, even though you're barely going to see any of this, there's the back of the skulls and also the tail of that little bug. All right, so that's nearly finished. So yeah, I'm not far off. I don't know if I'm going to come back with her finished or another interim stage. Getting close now. I want to do something with the vines coming out of her head to just distinguish them a bit more from the greenness of the headpiece. Eyes are done, just need to gloss them. Picked out the jewels, which are going to be red. There's one on her chest, there's one on her forehead, and down on that loinclothy thing. Yeah, got to finish the plague bearer off. Just got to do his eye. And then I've got to paint the base. You can see I've put my usual scatter material, which is a mixture of small stones and sand, and I've put that on, and I've just coated it with Agrax Earthshade. And I've got to be careful here now, because the brownness of her, I don't want her to merge into the base. So I want to make sure that it's a bit of a different colour to her. And I'm guessing I'm going to need green tufts. Got to fill it up with some grass, somewhat. Oh, the other thing is I've decided the vines that are holding down the plague bearer are too green. I've got to take them down a bit. All right. So I'll come back with her done. Focus. Say goodbye. She ain't having it. All right. Be back when she's done. And that's my lady done. I went back and I redid the vines up on her crown and her skirt affair. They were just too dull. I kept offering up these backpack vines that are coming out, and they looked just too dull when I would place the backpack up against it. So I've done the vines to match the rest of her. So that's her done. Also I redid the jewels. The jewels just, it looked very Christmassy, green and red together. So I've changed that. Also the one on the back of her staff. So there we go. Oh, there's the fella down in there. All right. So yeah, very pleased with her. She's going to take up an awful lot of space on the shelf, but Yeah, no, good. Yeah, I really enjoyed her. Very colourful, this one, so I think I'm going to go back to more sombre, earthy tones for whatever next unit I'm going to be doing for this army.